Okay, good morning. My name's James Danger. I'm an embryologist with more than 50 years experience, and these 38 IVF Daily short takes are meant to highlight a specific article, both a journal article or a newspaper article, which have some relevance both to IVF clinic staff and to the clients coming through IVF clinics. The topic of this particular article was found in Reproductive Biomedicine Online, published in June 2025, and relates to donor-conceived families. So as you can see, the title is Couples, Interpersonal Dynamics and Relationship Quality in Donor-Conceived Cycles, a Systematic Review. And the key things we wanted from the start is the highlights is that gamete recipient couples generally exhibit high couple satisfaction levels comparable to families formed through adoption, non-donor ART, and spontaneous conceptions. The level of relationship satisfaction appears to be associated with healthier family dynamics, including lower levels of parental conflict and stress. In other words, these relationships have an inherent low level of conflict, and that produces healthier families. While disclosure of donor conception does not directly affect relationship quality, the couple's relationship dynamics appear to be related to decision-making and partners' agreement on disclosure for donor conceptions. The lay conversation basically is that when you tell a child that they're their donor paternity or maternity, it doesn't necessarily affect the relationship quality, but how it seems to work out depends upon the relationship between the parent that has a genetic relationship to child and their partner about agreeing on the disclosure before it occurs. By way of background, you can read this or the article. The article's on open access, so you can read it. In the landscape of new assisted reproductive technologies, families can be formed through donor conceptions, have contributed to challenging our conventional understanding of family and kinship as rooted in biogenetic connection. Boy, there's some good words. In this context, donor-conceived families, DC, are defined as the families formed by a single parent or a couple opting for oocyte donation, sperm donation, embryo donation, double gamete donation to conceive a child through ART treatment. Now, I'm not going to summarize the whole article. I'm just going to take the key sentences and conclusions from it, and you can read the article yourself. In the past year, the asymmetry in genetic relatedness to the child, where one intended parent having a genetic connection to the offspring while the other does not, has raised concern about its potential adverse effects on a couple's relationship, particularly with different sex parent families. More recently, researchers found that both men and women from infertile heterosexual couples seem to hold negative perceptions of using donor conception, particularly donor sperm, as they believe it could have detrimental effects on their own relationship. These concerns include fears of marital conflict, diminished joy associated with childbirth, or societal judgment questioning their parenting abilities. These feelings appear to be more pronounced with donor sperm than with donor eggs, and possibly reflecting societal emphasis on paternal genetic relatedness. Additionally, lesbian parent families may experience feelings of jealousy or competitiveness from non-genetic mothers, often directed towards the gestational or genetic mother, or in some cases the donor, due to perceived differences in biological connection to the child. This can add complexity to the couple's relationship dynamics and underscores the importance of open discussion about the role of genetics within the family. So this is only a very short take, so I'm just going to go straight to the conclusions and just summarize what the authors have said. This paper represents a systematic review of all the literature published over the last 3 decades relating to the quality of relationship bonds and the psychological functioning of couples conceived through donor gamete donation. The need for this investigation stems from recent technological, political, and legislative developments in assisted reproduction, as well as from increasing global prevalence of ART, particularly in highly developed countries. The review findings suggest that couples who conceive via donor gamete or gamete donation generally exhibit good psychological functioning, with parents reporting high levels of satisfaction in their relationship. Even in couples where satisfaction is low, the outcomes still fall within the normal range, and only a few instances suggest potentially dysfunctional situations. In line with this, the data on relationship stability indicates that only a small percentage of DC couples experience early relationship breakdowns, with the majority of relationships maintaining a long-term duration. This is really important for the health of the child, and furthermore, that these results really differ from the observed of other families or in the general population. So summarising that is that even though people may have concerns about creating families using donor gametes and the implications for the family structure and the children, when you do a review of all the publications, and it has been looked at by a lot of people, there is immense reassurance that using donor gametes of one form or another really has very little impact on the stability of the relationship and the relationship between the genetic and non-genetic parent and the child. It's very good. It's a good paper.